It's so interesting, Theo Howard's letter to the editor and David Faber's remarks to the Port Townsend leader, both complaining that the paper reported on the ethics complaint on the front page. And they said that, most people just read the headlines so they won't understand. So they think you're dumb. You're really, really dumb. You're just going to read a headline that says, the sky is orange. You go, yeah, the sky is orange. I'm like really dumb. So that shows their mindset, right? They're really dumb. And that they use the newspaper to manipulate you. And that's the way it's always been in Port Townsend. The newspaper's been corrupt and it's only reported one side. Well, now that they're reporting both sides, the mob, the hive mind, is upset about it, right? So they're complaining to the paper and they're saying, yeah, but the people in the public are just really just dumb. They're like so dumb, and they're going to see a headline and they're going to believe it, and they're not going to understand that the person who filed the complaint is just some dumb idiot that's not credible, and nobody likes her, see? And she's in the New York Times and stuff, and, she had that landmark free speech case, but we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about the people that don't like her because we don't like her. So that's what their hive mind of you. You just see the headline and you believe it because you're gullible and stupid. And that's what they need you to believe. So they need that headline to say, really stupid local person filed some sort of complaint against the mayor, and it's not true at all, and he's the best ever, and he's honest, and he's a good guy, and he's bipartisan, and we love him, and he's fair to everybody and constitutional. And it's a big headline, but they want you to just see a headline that says he's good because he's credible, right? He's credible because he's a corrupt attorney. He's credible because he's the mayor. Like, what gives him credibility? You've seen his posts, right? His bestiality, his promoting turf blood, inciting violence against groups, protecting his law firm, protecting men that assaulted women and assaulted officers. There's nothing good about the man, but he's credible and I'm not. Oh my goodness, right? The point I want to make to you, the public, is that, Theo Howard, he's a local attorney. He's the president of Olympic Housing Trust. He wanted to be a council member. And when you call the clear line to try to get help for Northwest Justice, evictions, all that, they send you to him. He doesn't help everybody unless he likes you. You've seen Jenny Ellison's stories out there, right? But he thinks that a headline should not be... The ethics complaint that I filed should not be a headline because you're too stupid to understand a headline. And you probably won't read the article. And even if you read the article, you wouldn't understand what went along because the article didn't say, well, she's not credible. It is ridiculous, right? So Theo Howard is credible. Mr. I'm a druggie with Diamanti over in Coopville. And all of a sudden I come over here and then I hook up with the mayor, and Diamanti's married to a councilwoman, and we're all that, and we own everything, and we're in charge, and so we're credible. I mean, seriously, there's nothing credible about Theo Howard. Oh, he's got a law degree. How easy is that? Many times people wanted to put me through law school. I said, no way. I've seen too many people lose their law license when they stood up to corruptions, okay? Theo is corrupt. He's horrible. Look at the Jenny Ellison story, okay? I mean, I was never a drug addict. I didn't do the things that Theo and Diamanti did over there in Coopville. I never in my life. And so whatever they think that they're better than me, they're not. And did you see the paper this week? Today's like October 13th or something. And Trent Diamanti, he's like, you know what? Last I heard, someone who owns the land gets to decide where the buildings are. And in the golf course case, well, the city owns it, so the city decides. So in other words, the city is Faber, Winstrom, the council members, right? The city manager, that's the city. And they get to decide where the houses should be. Your tax dollars, they work for you. And asshats like Diamanti, who is the mayor's law clerk, says that the city gets to decide. And the city is Faber, the mayor. The city is the council people to him, right? Well, the city is the people. So we know where his mindset's coming from, right? Because he's credible. What makes him credible, right? He's a drug addict. I don't care if you had really bad drug issues and you got into it. You've heard his interview because he was lonely and he had all these reasons. And then you go on a prescription drug for like 5 to 10 years. That's basically just a replacement. You're still on it. Okay. He's got a lot of demons and a lot of trauma and a lot of issues. And, he's not as accomplished as me. He's not credible. He's not a good guy. He's not been through his dark night of the soul or done his spiritual journey, or he's just some guy that married a councilwoman. So he thought that he owns the whole town because the council people own the town. I married a councilwoman. I own the town. I'm in charge. Now he's friends with Faber. He's got Theo. Get Theo in there as a councilwoman. We own this town. We run the town, okay? We're going to launder some more money, $1.4 million at the Cherry Street. We're going to have no accountability. We're going to put Windstrom in charge out there at Fort Worden. We're going to launder all that money. We're going to go bankrupt. Oh, not going to go bankrupt. We're going to run up $6.2 million in bills, and then we're going to dissolve the entity and tell kids at bank, ha ha, screw you. And they're like, no. Did you see that Elaine Palmer? Beautiful woman, smart, awesome. Marries him. You can see their wedding photos. I mean, she just was so beautiful. You could just see the light in her. There's no one could ever convince me he didn't abuse her mentally, emotionally, and perhaps physically. Got her into drugs, drinking. I mean, she looked horrible by the time she finally got out of here and left for love to move to Seattle and resign from city council. Whatever that marriage did, whatever that man did to her, it stole her life, stole her thunder. And you can see if this week, a letter in the paper, still like they're the gods of Port Townsend. Thinking that city council gets to decide where houses are because they own the land and he was married to a councilwoman, right? They're all thugs and they're all ganging up on me in the paper saying, I'm not credible. Well, I don't need to be credible if 1 and 1 is 2. Everything I've said in my ethics complaint against Libby Windstrom is a violation of the Port Townsend Ethics Code. The reason they were insufficient is because they don't care about anything unless it's money. And it turns out, even if they do care about it, it goes back to the council and they're not going to get rid of people. So you have to sue them if you want anything done because they violate all the rules. Like they said, oh, they only use email for their messages. I'm like, yeah, well, how about you give me their text and their Twitter messages and their Facebook messages and all this? Well, they don't have any there. They don't use it. Yeah, they do. They violate all the ethics codes. Look it up, the PTMC or something, ethics code of the city. They break them all. There's no accountability. And an ethics violation, you can only get through on the bigger things, like zoning or the different laws. But they violate them all and they have no accountability. And, so when someone complains about it, like with the Brent Shirley case, they're like, we want to know your people. 12 whistleblowers, right? It's whistleblower intimidation. It's illegal. But they're in charge. They're credible. So they're just going to, be the mafia and go at them. They need to be held accountable for this. It is illegal. Everything they're doing is illegal. What they did to harass Brent Shirley and all those whistleblowers and demanding their names. And that is horrible. That's like some sort of a mafia movie. And they have no accountability. And then my complaints in the paper for a couple times. And then they're like, she's got no credibility. You need to let everybody know she's got no credibility. Like, who gives no fucks that I got credibility? Everybody knows who Faber is. Most of the town didn't want what he wanted at the golf course. What he did to Julie Jaman was sick, right? The whole world talking about his bestiality and his hatred and his inciting violence and his representing the people that assaulted us and assaulted an officer. And he's still the good guy? Why? Because local politics gives him all that power? Why? You try to run against him, you can't because the hive mind will turn on you. You won't have a job. You probably get arrested. Prosecutor Kennedy, he'll just arrest whoever for whatever. He don't arrest people that kill babies. He doesn't arrest people that do real crimes. He only arrests people because they don't have cream for their dog because that's what the hive mind wants. Right? So Faber knows he's above the law. You got to hold these guys accountable. You got to sue them. You got to keep at them. They're not going to stop. They're above the law. They think they're God. It doesn't matter what they do to hurt people and violate people's rights. They have no conscience.
So yeah, you're so dumb, you only read the headlines and you don't know no better.